I'd like everybody to learn as much as they can about the monetary system right now. I truly believe that we're in for something just gigantic. One of the hugest shifts in finance and monetary history is coming at us.
Mike Maloney discusses the power of institutional investors and their impact on COMEX. He expresses his belief that COMEX may be headed for a default. He also mentioned a chapter in a book about gold manipulation during the pandemic and expresses uncertainty about the information they have.
The institutional investors have a lot of power, and I believe that you'll be able to see the COMEX and so on will cater to them. But I do think the COMEX may potentially be headed for a default here. I think there's going to come a day where there is a chapter on the book about a giant gold manipulation that happened during the pandemic. And I might be wrong there. Maybe my information is outdated, but suddenly in just a couple of months, the COMEX had to quadruple their gold stocks. And everybody that's watching you knows that the COMEX is a fractional reserve scheme, that there's many times more paper ounces of gold and silver, promises to deliver, being bought and sold at any given moment than there is actual gold and silver to deliver upon. And they've now they've got a registered category and an eligible, but they think that eligible category now is much, much smaller than they thought in the past, that a lot of people there may not, even though those bars qualify for inclusion in delivery, that the owners may not want to part with those bars at any price near what it's currently at.
Mike Maloney discusses the inflows and outflows of gold during the pandemic. He explains that the U.S. reversed its position as a gold exporter and imported a lot of gold, particularly from Swiss refineries. He also mentions China's accumulation of gold and sudden stop during the period when the U.S. was importing.
These millions, I believe it was $55 billion worth of gold flowed onto the exchange in just a couple of months. And then somebody has taken delivery of about 12 million ounces, and there was 9.1 million ounces on the exchange before the inflows. So since the inflows, deliveries that have been taken exceed what was on the exchange. Now, during this time, the U.S., I'm sure you get Nick Laird's information and stuff all the time too. Every month after month for years and years, the U.S. is an exporter of gold. And one of the big places that we export to is the Swiss refineries. And during COVID, that reversed. We didn't export, we imported a lot of gold, and a lot of it was from the Swiss refineries. And simultaneously, China, who had been accumulating month after month for years without fail. There was more, when you look at all of this is just for your viewers. When you look at the central bank accumulation, they only report once in a while, and then it takes this big leap up because they haven't been telling us anything before. They keep it secret. But the Hong Kong exchange and the Shanghai exchange, we know the inflows and outflows. And there has been a net inflow into China every month for years and years. And then suddenly they stopped importing during the period of time when the U.S. was importing. How does that happen? Is there somebody at these big bullion banks powerful enough to get China to actually stop importing gold for a few months while the U.S. gets enough gold to stay out of some emergency default? Because I think that I haven't checked all of this like as deeply as I need to, because it requires somebody going through spreadsheets of inflows and outflows of all of the different countries around the world and trying to be an investigator and figure this out. And maybe Ronan Manley has already done it. He's a great analyst.
He is.
Yes. Yeah. I have a lot of respect for his writing. And if he has, I didn't read the article and with the final analysis of what was going on during those months.
Mike Maloney discusses how he believes that there will be a monumental shift in finance and monetary history. He notes that fiat currencies have a 100% failure rate and that all of the world's currencies are currently fiat currencies. He argues that this is a grand experiment that has never been done before. and that every time a similar experiment was conducted in the past, currency eventually failed.
I'd like everybody to learn as much as they can about the monetary system right now. I truly believe that we're in for something just gigantic. One of the hugest shifts in finance and monetary history is coming at us. One of the things that I say in there, as fiat currencies have never survived, it's a 100% failure rate. All of the fiat currencies that exist right now were born on August 15th of 1971 or later, because before that, all of the British pounds and all of the different currencies around the world were backed by gold through the US dollar. So when Nixon severed the tie to gold, he changed the US dollar after August 15th was a completely different dollar than before August 15th, 1971. And if all the other world's currencies were backed by the US dollar, that means all of the other currencies became unbacked on that date. And so we're in this grand experiment that has never been done before, where all of the world's currencies are fiat currencies simultaneously. This is new territory. This is a monetary experiment that is conducted on a scale never before seen. And we know that every time this experiment was conducted in the past, that currency would eventually fail and people would rush to other currencies and to gold. Now there's no other currency to run to. There is only gold and silver, and that's it.
Mike Maloney emphasizes the importance of calling things by their proper names. He argues that it is crucial to differentiate between currency and money, and that calling the US dollar money gives it accolades it does not deserve. He also contends that the US dollar does not store value but rather steals value from people constantly.
Learn the difference between fiat currency and money, and then use the proper definitions. And this is something that I'm going to war on now. I'm the one that started this, but it surprised me that very few of my colleagues in this sector picked up on it and started differentiating between currency and money. And I believe it is important. In the book, I use a quote from Confucius that says, all knowledge begins with calling things by their proper names. And it is important. If we want to have truth and understanding, we have to call things by their proper names. And calling the US dollar money is giving it accolades it does not deserve. It does not store value. It steals value from you constantly, every day, and transfers a very tiny sliver of value to someone else. Whoever got the new currency the Federal Reserve just created, whoever gets that first and spends it, they get the full purchasing power. But as it circulates, it's going to cause prices to rise because we didn't inflate the dollar, we devalued we inflated the currency supply. We devalued the dollar by doing that. And lastly, go to ggsr21.com and it's for free. We're not going to try to get your email address. You don't have to give us anything to get chapters 3 and 4 of Great Gold and Silver Rush of the 21st Century. And there's going to be more posted there because I wanted this book to live beyond the original print date. And stuff is changing so fast that a lot of these charts that are in the book, you'll be able to go there and see the latest update, and then I'll be able to make comments on it and such. So those are the 3 things that I'd like to leave people with.
As we come to the end of this video, I hope you found it informative and thought-provoking. If you have any thoughts or questions about the topics discussed in this video, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with our latest content. See you in the next one.